What is the fastest street race car in the Crew 2? I know most of you are saying, come on Mitchell, it's the Lamborghini Huracan. We already know it's on the top of the leaderboards on almost every track, but the KTM X-Bow is looking pretty promising. I know that the Lamborghini is at the top of the leaderboards, but I feel like a lot of people just haven't given the KTM X-Bow a chance. If we get some of the top drivers really putting down a lot of laps in that car, I feel like it might be able to take a lot of the first place positions on these different tracks. Now, of course, we're not just gonna talk about it. I've actually tested drag times, top speed, and their times around the track, and I'm gonna go over all that with you and break down their specs, because the specs are very interesting. Starting off with the champion, the belt holder, the Lamborghini Huracan, with a top speed of 225 miles per hour, 848 horsepower, 0 to 60 in 2.97 seconds, running the quarter mile in 9.8 seconds with a lateral G rating of 0.84 and a brake distance of 25.41 yards. Keep in mind, both cars are completely maxed, all 280 parts, but all the parts are green, so there's no perks or anything to help them out, but they are maxed. Moving on to the challenger, the KTM X-Bow, with a top speed of, again, 225 miles per hour, only making 400 horsepower, but a 0 to 60 in a faster 2.6 seconds, a quarter mile in a faster 9.53 seconds. For lateral Gs, we have a grippier 0.87 and braking distance completely dominating with 17.22 yards. So it either ties or wins in all categories on paper, but what happens when we actually get to testing these vehicles? So the first thing I did was I took them to the salt flats, of course, where else, and we tested the top speed on both of these beasts. The defending champion, the Lamborghini Huracan, with a top speed without nitrous of 226 miles an hour. When we hit the boost, we got up to 246 for an overall top speed. Moving on to the KTM X-Bow, we actually had the same top speed of 226 without nitrous, but with boost, we actually had some variance. We only got up to 241. Something tells me that's because the Huracan is heavier with more power, where the KTM X-Bow is lighter with less power. So once you get past that quarter mile and a half mile and a full mile, it's likely that we will see the Huracan actually take the edge, but it's not really going to translate as well on the track. We're gonna have to find out. The next thing we did were drag races on the salt flats. I don't know the exact distance of these drag races, but it's the one where they have the land speed car off to the side and all the pylons set up, and it works damn well as a drag strip. I turned on all assists, including made the transmission automatic instead of manual to eliminate all other variables, and I did not touch nitrous. We just simply held down the trigger and timed how long it took them to run to the end of the cones. For the Lamborghini Huracan, we had a time of 23.43 seconds. But moving on to the KTM X-Bow, the challenger, the one that's superior in the quarter mile and has a better 0 to 60, we actually saw along that drag strip, which was almost a full mile, maybe, possibly. It's hard to tell. I'm gonna guess it's a full mile drag strip, but I really don't know. The KTM X-Bow, though, ran a time of 24.02 seconds, a decent bit slower, not too slow, but a decent bit slower than the Lamborghini Huracan. Now, this is what you're all waiting for. We took them to the track. We actually took them to the shortest track in the game, downtown LA South, and their times were pretty close. Now, starting off, I took the Huracan out first, and I must have ran at least 9-10 runs with the car. In comparison to the KTM X-Bow, it felt more responsive, but also a little bit less stable. It also, I would agree, did feel more powerful, and I felt like I was driving faster with the Huracan. After those 9 or 10 attempts, our best time happening near the end of those was 1 minute 44.527 seconds. Now, in the leaderboards for this actual track, the Lamborghini Huracan is at the top. It has the world record, so that is very interesting. If the KTM X-Bow could beat it here, that would be saying a lot. Now, if the KTM X-Bow wins, we also have to consider on other tracks, it might not be the same outcome. I would assume tracks with bigger straightaways, tracks that include highway sections, are probably going to be where the Huracan would remain the better car if the KTM X-Bow can pull it out in this lap time. And I think you guys have already caught on, I'm not the best at hiding. The KTM X-Bow pulls it out. And they ran a time, the KTM X-Bow ran a time of 143.857, less than a second faster, but nonetheless faster on a very short track. And overall, I have to admit, it was more stable. I always race with all the assists off, that's just how I prefer, and it was definitely more stable, more forgiving, but was nowhere near as responsive. With some tuning, the results definitely could have changed, so I'm not going to say it's the faster car. I'm going to leave that up to you guys, as neither of these cars were tuned. They just had the stock tunes and I ran with them. But with some tuning, I definitely think I could make some improvements with the Huracan. Arguably, it isn't the fastest, but from my testing, it definitely is. From the on-paper specs, it's definitely going to be the faster car around the track, with a better 0-60, a better quarter mile, and better lateral G's, better grip, as well as better braking distance, really winning in all areas. And I'm really surprised no one's made a video on this yet. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for more. We live stream every day, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Remember, your pain is your strength. Love you guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. Just a short one for you today. Take it easy. I'm out.